The mysterious death of Gene Hackman and his wife and dog found dead in their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
The news of Gene Hackman's sudden passing shocked the world, but it wasn't just his death that left fans and the public in a state of confusion. What unfolded after his death was a deeply mysterious and tragic tale, filled with haunting details and chilling revelations. It wasn't until a series of forensic investigations and emotional tributes from his peers, including a heart-wrenching post from Gwyneth Paltrow, that the full scope of the situation began to emerge. While the public had long admired Hackman for his iconic performances in films like The French Connection and Hoosiers, his final days were far more somber and unsettling than anyone could have imagined. But perhaps the most curious aspect was Gwyneth Paltrow's silence, until now. After Hackman's death, the world waited for her response, and when it came, it was far more impactful than anyone anticipated. What did she know, and what made her finally speak out? Let's uncover the truths that lie beneath the surface in this astonishing tale of Hollywood's elite, deadly diseases, and the ghosts of the past that still haunt us. Gene Hackman's death in February 2025 shocked not only his fans, but also those who had known him intimately in the Hollywood community. In the days leading up to his passing, the actor had been battling severe cognitive decline. Those close to him revealed that Hackman had been unable to fully comprehend the death of his wife, Betsy Arakawa, who passed away under mysterious circumstances just days before his own death. This devastating loss seemed to exacerbate his already fragile health condition, leading to even more speculation about the true nature of his final days. As investigations into his death unfolded, it was revealed that Hackman had been grappling with both heart disease and Alzheimer's disease for some time. The combination of these ailments made it increasingly difficult for him to maintain the sharpness and vitality that had once defined his acting career. Despite this, he remained out of the public eye, living a quieter life in his Santa Fe home, away from the Hollywood spotlight that had once adored him. The discovery of Hackman lying on the cold floor of his home added a grim layer to the tragedy. The image was haunting, an iconic actor whose career had been marked by roles that defined generations, now found alone and physically diminished. Hackman's passing, coupled with the strange circumstances surrounding his wife's death, has sparked a range of theories and rumors. Some wonder if his declining health had been a significant factor in her passing, while others question whether Hackman was aware of more than he let on. The tragic events of those final days have left an unshakable sense of mystery surrounding the end of one of Hollywood's most revered legends. Betsy Arakawa's death in early 2025 remains shrouded in mystery, adding a layer of tragedy to the already heartbreaking story of her husband, Gene Hackman. Arakawa, who had been married to the legendary actor for over 3 decades, passed away from hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a rare and often deadly disease transmitted through rodent droppings. While hantavirus typically peaks during warmer months when rodent activity increases, her death occurred in the midst of an unusually dry winter, raising questions about how she contracted the disease. The timing and circumstances surrounding Arakawa's death seemed highly irregular. Hantavirus is more commonly associated with rural or semi-rural areas where rodents are prevalent, yet the couple's home in Santa Fe was not known for an infestation problem. Arakawa's health had reportedly been declining in the weeks leading up to her death, but she had not displayed the typical signs of hantavirus until shortly before her passing, which made her case all the more puzzling. Her sudden and unexpected illness added to the eerie atmosphere surrounding the couple's final days together. The discovery of Arakawa's body, just days before Hackman's own death, prompted investigators to probe deeper into the couple's life. As they unraveled more details, it became clear that Hackman had been deeply affected by his wife's passing. The timing of both deaths, coupled with the rare nature of hantavirus and the unusual conditions under which Arakawa contracted it, led many to speculate about the true nature of the events. Were the deaths connected in some way, or were they just a tragic series of coincidences? the investigation remains ongoing, leaving the full truth of Arakawa's death still unknown. One of the most heart-wrenching aspects of Gene Hackman's death was the haunting possibility that he was unaware of his wife, Betsy Arakawa's, passing just days before. With Hackman's Alzheimer's disease having reached an advanced stage, it is believed that he was incapable of processing the gravity of the loss. This realization became even more tragic when medical records revealed signs of severe cognitive impairment. Hackman had likely lost the ability to grasp the concept of death, and even the emotional weight of losing someone as significant as Arakawa seemed beyond his comprehension. Hackman's pacemaker readings added a chilling layer to the story. These readings indicated abnormal heart rhythms in the days following his wife's death, which suggested that his body was under extreme physical distress. It is speculated that the emotional shock of losing his life partner might have been a factor in his own declining health, yet Hackman's inability to process the emotional trauma due to his advanced Alzheimer's likely left him in a state of confusion and isolation. His once sharp mind, known for its powerful portrayals of complex characters, had become clouded, and the emotional weight of the tragedy seemed to slip through his consciousness. The thought that Hackman might have spent his final days unaware of the loss of his wife paints a tragic picture of his last moments. Arakawa had been by his side for over 3 decades, and the emotional bond they shared seemed undeniable. The idea that Hackman's deteriorating health left him disconnected from this heartbreaking reality adds a layer of profound sadness to an already tragic story, leaving fans and loved ones to wonder how much he truly understood in his final days. Gwyneth Paltrow's tribute to Gene Hackman following his death was marked by a quiet, yet deeply emotional gesture. The two shared a close bond, having worked together on The Royal Tenenbaums, a film that has since achieved cult classic status. Paltrow's tribute was a stark contrast to the typical outpouring of public mourning, as she chose not to craft a lengthy tribute or statement. Instead, she posted a single, poignant image from the film, accompanied only by a simple, broken heart emoji. This minimalist approach spoke volumes. It captured the essence of her grief, showing how profoundly Hackman's death affected her, without the need for words. The image was a reminder of their shared experience on set, where Paltrow and Hackman had forged a connection both professional and personal. Hackman, known for his depth and complexity as an actor, had undoubtedly left an indelible mark on Paltrow's life and career. By sharing the image, she honored their collaboration in a way that felt intimate and respectful, reflecting the depth of their relationship. Paltrow's decision to remain silent for so long before offering this tribute also made a powerful statement. In a world where public figures often feel the pressure to publicly express their emotions immediately, Paltrow's restraint spoke to the quiet nature of her grief. Her tribute was not about seeking attention or validation, but rather a personal acknowledgement of the loss. It left fans wondering about the private connection between the two actors, adding another layer of depth to the emotional tribute that spoke more through its silence than words ever could. The investigation into Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's deaths has left authorities with more questions than answers, sparking intense speculation and curiosity about the final days of the couple's life. When their bodies were discovered in their Santa Fe home, investigators were immediately faced with the challenge of unraveling the complex circumstances surrounding their deaths. With Hackman's declining mental state due to advanced Alzheimer's disease, there is ongoing debate about whether his deteriorating health played a pivotal role in the tragic events that unfolded. Forensic pathologists have been at the center of the investigation, working tirelessly to determine the exact causes of death. Hackman's advanced Alzheimer's and his pacemaker readings, which showed signs of heart irregularities, have led some to wonder if his physical and cognitive decline were factors in his death. Meanwhile, Arakawa's passing from hantavirus pulmonary syndrome under unusual conditions only added another layer of mystery, leading investigators to examine whether the couple's lifestyle or environment may have contributed to the tragic outcome. In addition to the medical investigation, questions about the couple's personal life have captured the public's imagination. Neighbors, friends, and acquaintances have been interviewed to shed light on the couple's final interactions and whether there were any signs that something was amiss in their last days together. Speculation has swirled around whether Hackman, due to his cognitive decline, might have been unaware of his wife's death, and whether this emotional shock might have exacerbated his own health struggles. The mystery surrounding Hackman and Arakawa's deaths continues to fascinate as authorities and the public search for clarity in what appears to be a deeply tragic and complex series of events. In interviews following Gene Hackman's death, Gwyneth Paltrow shared heartfelt memories of their time together, offering a rare and personal tribute to the late actor. Reflecting on their work together in the Royal Tenenbaums, Paltrow spoke candidly about how Hackman's influence shaped her both professionally and personally. While Hackman was often known for his tough exterior and reputation for being difficult on set, Paltrow described a side of him that few ever saw, the nurturing and deeply caring mentor who guided her through their collaboration. Paltrow's recollections painted a more intimate portrait of Hackman, revealing the complexities that lay beneath his iconic roles and often gruff public persona. She spoke about the warmth he exuded during their time working together, how he would offer advice and encouragement, and the quiet moments they shared away from the limelight. For Paltrow, Hackman's presence on set was both inspiring and grounding, and she credited him with teaching her valuable lessons in the craft of acting. This personal tribute not only highlighted Hackman's professional legacy, but also revealed the layers of his character that were not always visible to the public. Paltrow's words offered fans a deeper understanding of the actor, emphasizing that despite his hard-edged image, Hackman was someone capable of great kindness and sensitivity. Through Paltrow's reflection, Hackman's influence became clear, not just as a towering figure in Hollywood, but as a person who, behind the scenes, cared deeply for those he worked with. Her tribute provided a more nuanced and emotional perspective of Hackman, honoring both the actor and the mentor he was. Gene Hackman's withdrawal from Hollywood in the early 2000s marked a significant shift in his life. After decades of stardom, the acclaimed actor chose to retire from the limelight and live a quieter, more isolated life. This decision, while seemingly driven by the desire for peace and solitude, soon had a darker side. In the years following his retreat, Hackman's health began to rapidly decline, and his isolation, intended to provide refuge, became a contributing factor to his deteriorating condition. As Hackman aged, he struggled with Alzheimer's disease, a heartbreaking condition that clouded his memories and left him unable to recognize those closest to him. In his final months, there were reports that he was unable to recall the death of his wife, illustrating the devastating effects of the illness on his cognitive abilities. Hackman's retreat from social circles, perhaps made easier by his distance from Hollywood and its associated pressures, meant that he lacked the close-knit support system many rely on in such challenging times. This isolation not only affected his emotional well-being but also left him vulnerable to the gradual erosion of his health. The stigma surrounding the decline of a public figure, especially one as iconic as Hackman, often hides the emotional and physical toll of aging in the public eye. His situation highlights how, despite the fame and admiration he garnered throughout his career, the solitude of his later years led to a painful and private struggle. Hackman's experience serves as a sobering reminder that the price of fame and isolation can often be paid in ways that are invisible to the public, leaving those affected to quietly grapple with their health and emotional challenges. In the Royal Tenenbaums, Gwyneth Paltrow and Gene Hackman's portrayal of a father-daughter relationship was one of the most emotionally charged dynamics of the film. Their characters, Margot and Royal, shared a deeply complicated bond, filled with tension, love, and unresolved issues. This fraught connection, explored through subtle yet poignant interactions, mirrored aspects of the actors' own lives, making their performances all the more captivating. Hackman, with his seasoned experience and commanding presence, provided a stabilizing anchor for Paltrow, who at the time was still in the early stages of her career. Their scenes together resonated because of the unspoken emotional depth they brought to the roles. One of the most memorable moments from the film is the ice cream parlor scene, where their characters share a rare, vulnerable interaction. Paltrow's portrayal of Margot's restrained emotion contrasted with Hackman's raw and sometimes abrasive Royal, creating a delicate balance of tension and intimacy. The chemistry between them in this scene and throughout the film was rooted in a shared understanding of their characters' complexities. Paltrow has often reflected on the experience, noting how Hackman's professionalism and generosity on set left a lasting impression on her. She admired his ability to fully inhabit his role while also making space for others, which allowed her to feel safe and supported in exploring her own character's emotional depth. Their on-screen dynamic was not only a product of the script, but also of the mutual respect between the actors. Hackman's depth as an actor and Paltrow's nuanced performance created a palpable emotional connection that elevated their scenes. This collaborative energy between them turned their relationship into one of the most memorable and impactful aspects of the film, adding layers of authenticity and richness to the Royal Tenenbaums. Gene Hackman's passing left a profound impact on his friends, fans, and the wider Hollywood community, marking the end of an era for many who had grown up watching his iconic performances. The shock of his death reminded people of the fleeting nature of life, especially for those who had admired him from afar. Hackman had always been a larger-than-life figure on screen, yet his death unveiled a more vulnerable human side. The circumstances surrounding his passing, particularly the secrecy and mystery that often surround the private lives of public figures, only deepened the sorrow and speculation among those who were closest to him. For Hollywood, Hackman's death signified the loss of a true legend, someone who had influenced generations of actors with his powerful performances and indelible presence. Colleagues and friends who had worked with him recalled his professionalism and generosity on set, as well as the quiet yet magnetic charisma he exuded in his roles. Many actors, especially younger stars who had been inspired by his career, mourned the loss not only of a fellow artist, but of a mentor who had shown them the complexities of the craft. Among those affected was Gwyneth Paltrow, whose professional relationship with Hackman in the Royal Tenenbaums had been particularly meaningful. To her, Hackman wasn't just a colleague. He was a mentor and a guide in the early years of her career. His death marked the conclusion of a chapter in her own life, a poignant moment that underscored the fragility of human connections. Hackman's passing reignited conversations about the toll of fame and the hidden challenges of aging in the public eye, prompting fans and industry insiders alike to reflect on the importance of mental health and emotional well-being, especially for those in the limelight. Gene Hackman's legacy will be defined not just by his roles on screen, but by the depth and complexity he brought to every character he portrayed. Over his 5-decade career, Hackman became a staple of American cinema, known for his powerful performances in films like The French Connection, Hoosiers, and The Royal Tenenbaums. His ability to embody a vast range of characters, from gritty detectives to heartbroken fathers, earned him acclaim and solidified his status as one of Hollywood's greatest actors. His performances were marked by authenticity and a raw emotional depth that made each role memorable, often portraying flawed but deeply human characters that resonated with audiences. However, beyond the accolades and iconic roles, Hackman's personal journey adds further richness to his legacy. His decision to step away from Hollywood in the early 2000s and live a quieter life away from the public eye reflected a desire for privacy and peace. This retreat, while giving him solace, also meant that many of his personal struggles, including his health challenges, remained hidden from public view. His quiet life with his wife, his battle with Alzheimer's, and his overall preference for privacy created a narrative of a man who chose to live on his own terms, despite the pressures of fame. In the years to come, Hackman will be remembered not just for his Oscar-winning performances, but for the humanity he brought to both his career and personal life. His retreat from the limelight, his personal struggles, and his enduring love for those close to him paint a picture of a man who lived authentically, navigating life's complexities with grace and humility. Hackman's legacy will live on through the many characters he portrayed and the profound impact he had on the people around him. Gwyneth Paltrow's emotional reflection on Gene Hackman's passing gives us a rare glimpse into their deep connection and the lasting impact he had on her, both as a colleague and a friend. Hackman's legacy, shaped by his unparalleled talent and quiet strength, will undoubtedly continue to resonate with fans and the Hollywood community for years to come. As we remember his iconic roles and the man behind them, Paltrow's words remind us of the powerful relationships that shaped his journey beyond the screen. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates and stories from the world of Hollywood. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Hackman's legacy and Paltrow's tribute. Drop a comment below and let's continue the conversation. Your engagement helps us bring you more exclusive content like this. Thanks for watching.